Okay, so how many grams are there in 2.5 kilograms? So first bit here is that we're going to have to know some facts. So there are 1,000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram. That is a fact that you just need to learn. To go from 1,000 to 1, you've got to think, well, I'm going to have to divide that by 1,000 because 1,000 divided by 1,000 equals 1. And to go this way is going to have to be times by 1,000. So therefore, if we've got 2.5, we're timesing it by 1,000 times by 10, 100, 1,000, fill in with zeros, so 2500. So we end up getting question 1 like that. Okay, so question 2, how many centimetres are there in 3.7 centimetres? Again, we need to know some facts. So the fact is that 100 centimetres is equal to 1 metre. So again, if we think about how we go from 100 to 1, it's going to have to be by dividing by 100, which means going this way is going to have to be timesing by 100. So again, this time we're going to do 3.7 times by 100, 10, 100, fill with 0, so 370. So we get 370 as our answer. Question 3, we're looking for one that's not equivalent. Well, if we multiply this one by 2, remember that we've got to multiply top and bottom, so 8 times 2 is 16, so this one is equivalent. To go from here to here, we're timesing by 3. 3 3s are 9, 8 3s are 24, so this is equivalent. Remember that the word equivalent meaning that it's the same. This bit, 3 times 4 is 12, and 8 times by 4 is 32. So this one's equivalent. That leaves this one, but please make sure just to check. 3 times 5 is 15, 8 times 5 is 40, which is wrong. So always take your time with multiple choice and make sure that you go through the right process, don't just be guessing. Write 0.853 in standard form. Well, to write a number in standard form, it needs to be a number between 1 and 10. So the first thing I can see is 5.83. Standard form then has times 10. And then we've got a power up here. Positive if it's a big number, negative if it's a small number. This is a small number. So our decimal point wants to be here. It's here right now. So that's going to have to be by 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's times 10 to the minus 4. And again, I would just check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get 4. Next one is going the other way, so writing as an ordinary number. So again, with this bit, I might just make use of the paper here. So we've got a decimal here. Because it's times 10 to the 5, it's getting bigger. So just think to yourself, if I done 9.4 times by 10, it becomes 94. If I move it this way, it becomes 0.94. So it needs to be getting bigger. So 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3 jumps, 4 jumps, 5 jumps, fill in with zeros. So then my answer would end up being 9, 4, 1, 6. Make sure I get this bit right. 0, 0. Okay, part C. Divide 77,200 million by 300. So first of all, I'm going to write this as a fraction. 7,200. Then million is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, units, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and then we've got our million in there. So, and we're dividing that by 300. So straight away with this fraction, we can divide top and bottom by 10 to get rid of one of the zeros, divide by 10 again, and we're left with 72000 divided by 3. So I'm just going to come to the side. 3 into 72000. 3 into 7 goes twice, remainder 1. 3 4s are 12, and then we've got our 0, 0, 0, 0. Just make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I was going to check that in my answer anyway. So 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then remember that last 6 one. Okay, so just make sure that you double check your answers as you're going through. Okay, on to question 5. Work out the value of 8 to the 1 plus 8 to the 2. So 8 to the 1 is just equal to 8 plus 8 times 8. Now 8 8s are 64. 64 plus 8 gives me 72. 6 divided by 10, 6 to the power of 10 divided by 6 to the 2. When it's division, our rules is a to the n divided by a to the m is equal to a to the n minus m. So we just basically take away the powers. So 10 take away 2 is equal to 8. So we get 6 to the 8. Simplifying fully basically means that we need to now make this bit shorter, easier to write. So 5 times 3 is 15. We've got x cubed times x to the 4, so that's going to end up being, remember when it's multiplication you add the powers, so we get x to the 7. And in the y we've got y squared times y to the 3 gives us y to the 5. And again that comes from the index law, a to the n times a to the m is equal to a n plus m. Okay, question 6. Work out the value of p when a is 11 and b is 5. So again, we're going to do substitution, and a lot of people want to just jump steps with this. What we need to do is p and actually make the substitutions first of all. So it's 2 open bracket 11 close bracket plus 3 open bracket 5, and remember in math between brackets is multiplication, so 2 11s 22, 3 5s 15, and then finally add them together. So 5 add 2 is 7, 2 add 20 add 10 is 30, so we end up with 37. Now increase 6,800 by 12%. Again, write down what, if you're not sure how to do this, start writing down what we can do. So 12%, well, we know that 10% is dividing by 10, which means it's going to be 6, 8, 0. Now 1%, there's a relationship between 10% and 1% because it's divided by 10 again. So 1% will be 68, which means that 2% is going to be 68 plus 68. So again, 68, remember this is non-calculator, so if you're not sure, just come off to the side. 8 add 8, 16, carry 1 on. 6 add 6, 12, plus 1, 13, so 136. Which means that 12% is going to be the 136 plus the 680, so I'm just going to put this underneath it because I've already got it set out. I'm going to add these ones. First of all, I added that one. So we end up getting 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, carry 1, 6, 7, 8. So we get 816, which means that 12% is equal to 816. But it's wanting you to increase 6,800 by that 816. So our final bit that we're going to have to do is take our 6800 plus 816 to get our answer 6, 1, 8 add 8 is 16, carry 1 over, so 7616. 7616. 7616, 0 and 6, yeah. Okay. So question 8. Circle the value of 2 to the 4. Now 2 to the 4 means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, so we get 16. Circle the value of 5 cubed. 5 cubed is one of the ones that you should just know is 125. Again, that comes from 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. Square root of 196 is 14. Again, this is knowledge that you should know. You should know up to the first 15 square numbers. Okay, so write 132 as a product of prime. So we start off with 132, and we just basically need to think of two numbers that go into 132. So first of all, we can say that it's even, so I could write down 2, half the 2, so half 100 is 50, so if we need to, if we're not great at halving, half of 100 is 50, half of 30 is 15, half of 2 is 1, which means that we end up getting 66. Okay, so we get 66. Now 66 is 11 sixes, 11 is prime, and 6 is 3 and 2. Again, remember that you circle your prime numbers, and again we should know our prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. So then our answer for this one, just so I can fit it into the space, it's asking us a product of prime, so it's just basically 2 squared times 3 times 11. Work out the highest common factor of 110 and 132. So with this one, we're going to have to write down 110 as a product of primes. Again, I'm going to go for 11 and 10 first of all, and 5 and 2. What we then need to do is we need to write down draw our Venn diagram and look for the overlap. Now at this stage I'm just going to do the overlap. So we've got an 11 that appears in both lists, and we've got a 2 that appears in both lists, and that'll be it. So 11 times 2, so the answer is 22. Okay, then on to question 10. So DVDs are sold at one price, CDs at different price. 2 DVDs cost 35. So you can see the difference between shop 1 and shop 2, or sorry, just the shop, or whoever's bought this, is that one CD must cost £10. So one CD must equal £10. I got that. If I take away 2 DVDs from that price and 2 DVDs from that price, then the only difference between this is the one CD, which means a CD is £10. If a CD is £10, then if I take this equation here, then I have got £35 take away £10 is equal to 25, and that's what 2 DVDs is equal to 25, which means that one DVD is £12.50. Just check it works. 12.50 plus 12.50 ends up being 25. 25 plus 10 makes 35. In the other one, we've got 12.50 plus 12.50 makes 25 plus 10 makes 35 plus another 10 makes 45. So that does work. Does it enough to buy one DVD and 3 CDs? So we got 12.50 plus 10, 10, 10. So we end up getting 50, 10, 20, 30, 42. So we get 42.50 as our final answer for that one. Write these values in order to start with the smallest. Okay, so 1/10 is 10%. 0.2 is going to be 20%. and 11 is 11%. So it's about converting these into the same percentages. Now, we just need to know our decimals of 0.2 being 20%. 1/10, we should be aware that if you divide by 10, as we done earlier in this, you get 10%. This now becomes relatively straightforward to do. So our answer, 1/10, 11%, and 0.2. Okay, so next question. Question 12. Here is a list of numbers. So from this list, write down a multiple of 8. So we got 16. It's just the 8 times table. 8, 16, 24. Factor of 30 just means numbers that go into 30. So we've got 1 and 30, but they're not there. 2 and 15. 3 and 10. So there we go. 10's there. So we can take 10. Numbers 1/3 of 69. So that, remember that 1/3 basically means divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. So 6 into 3 goes 2. So we end up getting 23. And then finally a cube number. Cube numbers we just need to know. 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27. So that's our answers from these ones. Question 30.